Good morning and welcome to the Mayor's Weekly. We're pleased to have you with us today, and joining me today is Kathy Shamlis, who all of you know, our City Clerk, Chief Financial Officer. And this morning we're going to talk about two things. Talk briefly about the rolling back of foothills, and then devote the remainder of this session to talking about our latest, our newest corporate citizen in our industrial park and how that became a reality. Kathy, we know that because of COVID, we had to delay foothills in 2020, and not because we wanted to, because we didn't have a choice. It was a sound thing to do. And here we are today with COVID raging. Probably the pandemic poses a greater threat to the country and even our city than it's posed since we've known about it. And our council involved, the folks that put significant money into foothills, all agreed that it made sense to roll this back to September, and let's hope that things will be better than we can hold foothills in. I think to do anything different from that would be less than sound judgment, and to put that on almost baiting people to an unsafe situation. And myself, you, and I think our council member, the folks put money in this, want no part of that. So it's our desire, the funding is in place to have foothills, but we want to do it at a time when it does not present significant risk to the people that attend. And we know the size of those crowds in the upper 20,000 range, and it just would not be right to do that. And I think you agree with that, don't you, Kathy?
Oh, wait, yes, sir. It's just the right thing to do.
Right. And COVID has cast a cloud over our entire operation. You know, you think about our senior center and spring sports and that sort of thing. And again, sound thinking, you can't restore those activities today. You know, I've heard some things that caused me to scratch my head along the way about COVID. I know a person that dismissed it as nothing to it, wouldn't wear a mask, and that person was buried last week, cause of death, COVID.
Sad.
So it's absolutely real.
Sad.
And if you think otherwise, you're fooling yourself and putting yourself out there for what could be the end for you. And that's it. Kathy, what I want to talk about the rest of this segment is industrial development, and in particular, yesterday we had a groundbreaking ceremony in our industrial park. Our first German manufacturer in our industrial park. The name of that company is HEICHE. That's spelled Heiche. It's a German-based company, and the company will be occupying the speculative building on White House Road. They've entered into a lease agreement with a company that does that. That building will be acquired from the Jasper Industrial Development Board at their asking price, and there's a pretty significant piece of debt on the property to Alabama Power Company. They loan the Industrial Development Board the money at 0% interest, and that continues. We expect that deal will close, and that debt will be paid off at that time. And the leadership team of HEICHE, they've already entered into an agreement with the new the company AgriSale that will be the landlord, and they've worked in conjunction with Dunn Construction to come to an agreement to expand that building, actually double the size of the building. That building currently has 50,000 feet of floor space, 3,000 square feet of an office. It bumps out of the building. That will go to 100,000 square feet construction. Starts next week. What we know at this point is 70 employees. Conversations I've had, we expect that could be significantly greater than that. Kathy, what this company does, and you and I have talked a little bit about this, that their largest customer is Daimler, which is the parent company for Mercedes, and there are a lot of things under Daimler's umbrella. And Kathy and I have had some enjoyable conversations about growing up in the country in West Walker County. Kathy and Townley and me and Eldridge, and you see things, learn things, and about the mechanics of them. And I've always had an interest in the mechanics of vehicles. But if you were on the underside of say a new Mercedes vehicle today, you'd see lots of things we call tie rods and brake calipers and A-frames and that sort of thing. And these component parts per manufacturer have to be coated in a way to resist corrosion and rust and that sort of thing. And that's the business of HEICHE, is doing this coating process. And I don't fully understand it. There'll be large vats of solutions, and the parts that will be immersed in these solutions, and how long, and what kind of prep has to be done. But last evening I had dinner with the leadership team from HEICHE, and I sat at the table with a gentleman, Dr. Cloca. Dr. Cloca holds a doctorate degree in engineering. He will head up this operation, and so had a chance to talk in detail about what's going to happen here. And somewhere, I don't know where, these component parts, tie rods and brake calipers and A-frames and stuff, are manufactured somewhere. And those parts, when this plant's operational, and they think it'll be October of 2021, will come to Jasper, Alabama, and they'll go through the coating process. And then he shared something with me that they're not in the transportation business, that whoever the manufacturer of those parts are will transport to Jasper. Whoever the end user, whether it be Mercedes or whatever, will pick up in Jasper and deliver to their plants, whatever. So I thought, and as I understood in the conversation last night, it's complex. It's not like just dip it in water and it's done. All the chemical processes, again, I don't know how long it has to stay there. I don't know the makeup of the solution, that sort of thing. But I thought it was some sort of electronically charged application of coating. He says it's not, as I understand that. And so we tried to understand the volume of the business that they will do, and I've seen manufacturing at a distance, and I can't say I start to understand manufacturing, but I know this about the car business. And if you were to go to an auto parts store to buy a repair part for your automobile, they don't talk in terms of a general description of the product. They talk in part numbers.
That's great.
And here's what he told us, Kathy, and Dr. Clark said. He said this factory initially will work with 50 different part numbers. Well, that's, you think about, of course, you have different cars, different. He says a German operation deals with as many as 200 or 300, and this will ratchet up here. So I said we'll see these parts being brought to Jasper and go through this process of coating and be trucked away to be installed in new car manufacturing. It's great to have a German manufacturer there. One of the things that I've been reading about is this process of coatings and whatever. It looks like the future is tremendously bright for that, because it has value and applications. We had a little bit of a language barrier, but we try to talk about that. But the door on your new refrigerator might have this coating, or just all sorts of things, because apparently it's durable, it must be cost effective, and so that really excites me about the future for this factory to grow, and they're very optimistic about it. But we have Japanese manufacturers in our industrial park, but to bring a German manufacturer on board, that's good, and if they have a good experience, then certainly that's the best advertising too we can have. Kathy, one of the things yesterday at the groundbreaking, I had the opportunity to speak, and I talked about several things, but rightfully so. I praise our city council for supporting industrial development in this city. And it's so important for people to understand we have an industrial park because the council that sits right up here, year in and year out, allocates significant sums of money to industrial development, over $500,000 a year now, right, Kathy?
Right.
There are lots of pieces to bring in this German company here. As I told a group yesterday, at 38 years in the banking business, I've learned things just don't move without money. And it's frustrating, but sometimes people get the idea that they've got a piece of the action or they're paying the bills or whatever. Absolutely not. Kathy, being a CPA, understands our Industrial Development Board has audited financial statements. You can go to that audited financial statement and you can see exactly where revenues come from. And you'll have one revenue entry, and that's the city of Jasper.
That's correct.
Nobody else. The taxpayers of this city are funding industrial recruitment, and we're working today to bring industrial recruitment closer to the source of the funding source, which is the city of Jasper. And we'll talk about that more. But Kathy, I've shared with you some of my memorable experiences from the banking business, and I remember, and what I'm touching on here, this is certainly has relevance to it. But I remember a gentleman that married a lady whose family had made lots and lots of money, and after being married to that lady for several years, this gentleman took on a new persona. He got to be king of the hill. He got to thinking he'd made some of the money. Well, we've had some folks that get to thinking they helping pay the bills, but nobody is paying the bills for industrial development in this city but the taxpayers of this city through their elected officials. And somebody got the rumor out we're not cutting funded the industrial recruitment. Our game is to strengthen it, to grow. We're not going to be deterred by that sort of thing. And I see people that, hey, we're all for managing for the common good, and they're for that until it impacts one of their friends. But doesn't matter. We look after the taxpayers of this city as best we can every day if we do that. So I'm excited about this. If you're traveling on White House Road in a spec building, as I understand, construction will get underway next week. You're going to see a lot of activity there. The company, I said, hopes to be in operation by October 2021. You'll see trucks. You see that building expanded. That's very good for our local economy. As we know, Kathy, is a lot of money spent on personal consumption items, buying fuel for trucks, and hopefully some of the supplies in this construction will be bought here in Jasper, and we generate sales tax revenues from those things. So it's a good day for Jasper, but yesterday's past. Today we begin work on our next project, and we're going to do that. We begin to think about, through our Industrial Development Board, do we need another speculative building? We have a prepared site, and we'll do that. We have some good folks, had a group of appointees that were put on the board just earlier part of this month. As good a group of folks as I've seen since I've been involved with it. But Kathy, I'm really optimistic. The Secretary of Canfield was in town yesterday. Very complimentary of Jasper and what we've done to reinvent our city and after the downturn of the coal industry, and so it's exciting times, and we have a lot to be proud of. To hear the folks from HEICHE talk about their perception of Jasper and what I've seen and working on this for around industrial development for a good number of years. To make the deal work, I'd say 90% of it is economics. You know, what does it cost to locate? Where does it put my company proximity-wise to the end users and that sort of thing? And then it's a competitive environment out there. Mm-hmm. But at the end, after all of that's done, if you've measured up there, what can tilt things in your favor is the soft issues, the culture, how they perceive you people, and mm-hmm. and the German management group for HEICHE just couldn't say enough good things about our people in this city and the experience and the way they were treated, and so good. It's a great move for Jasper. We're the envy of a lot of folks. You look at what we have in the way of industrial development resources, you won't find that many cities of 14,000. I'm proud of it, and like I said, I look forward to our next project, and we'll be busy about that. So thank you for being with us today. We always welcome your questions, ideas. I would encourage you to drive down the White House Road. You'll see our prepared site. There's a sign there where that's for sale, and then you'll see work at the Speckley building, which is right at the mouth of Charles Bishop Drive and White House Road, and so it'll be good, and there'll be another grand opening when they get the company in operation, and if you were to bump into any of the folks with HEICHE, I hope you'll give them a warm welcome to our city. We look forward to being with you next week. Thank you.